Hello, my name is Gord Zubik, and I'm your child's teacher for their French Immersion Careers course. I just wanted to share with you sort of what we've been doing, where we're at, and where we're heading in the course. So, in terms of a focus for the course, the first main focus is oral communication and French skills. We've come up with some success criteria we've discussed in class with the students, things like staying on topic, eye contact, so not reading off of paper, the tone and volume of voice. So that changes, so it's not a monotone presentation. Clear pronunciation is something else that we've talked about, as well as using simple and complex sentences within our oral presentations. So students are being required to do oral presentations on a fairly regular basis. The other thing we're focusing on is paragraph writing or expressing opinions. The success criteria for this is an opening sentence or a statement, three supporting ideas, and then a closing sentence or statement. The reason I mentioned sentences or statement is that we've actually, with 1 and 2, we've started to combine those. So when students are doing a oral communication presentation, they're setting it up with the same format that you'd use for paragraph writing. The other reason that paragraph writing is so important is the grade 10 literacy test. So students who are in grade 10 are required to write the grade 10 literacy test, and then you must pass that literacy test as a requirement for graduation. Students who tend to struggle with writing paragraphs also struggle in the literacy test. So we're really doing some good review and some good practice here to help prepare the students so they can be successful on that literacy test. The third piece that we're doing is use of technology. So the course is blended. So the course content and work submission is all done via the D2L learning platform. This is a platform that most of the students, before they're done high school, and if not then, post-secondary, if they attend post-secondary, is a e-learning platform that they will eventually use with one of their courses. So again, all the online courses in high school are through this platform. So we're using this technology as well as using iPads and their phones to create videos and those types of things to then submit their work, so that I'm able to actually get a good idea of how well they're doing in terms of their oral communication French, the idea of where they're at now, and then hopefully seeing the improvement as we go through this course. Problem solving is another area that we focus on in the course. So one is getting technology to work. Technology is not always necessarily seamless. So it's trying to encourage them to keep working and to find solutions. Often the first response you get when there's a barrier, an obstacle is, oh, I don't have to do it. So I'm trying to change that mindset with them in the sense that they need to try to find solutions to those obstacles. And then some of it is time management, work completion as well. So getting the students to manage their time, adjust their schedules, because some are quite busy, to make sure that work gets completed and it is submitted. I also believe in a growth mindset. So students are told that work can always be resubmitted. What I want to see is I want to see students who are learning. And so if they're taking the feedback that's provided to them and going back and redoing something, I have no problems with that work being resubmitted, and then I will remark it. The e-learning platform that they're working in looks like this. They can access this from home. So up here you can see the URL. So if you were to type in ucdsb.elearningontario.ca, it will take you to a website where the students have to log in. They use their regular login and password that they would use at school, and then it takes them into the D2L system. They would choose this course. They could choose it from the waffle here, or in their other screen will have all their courses listed. They simply click on it, and this takes them to the home page for this course right here. The first place I'm going to take you are the grade items. So if you were to go under assessments and go to grade items, anything that's being marked that has a grade item shows up in this section. I try to keep them fairly orderly. One of the areas we're doing is use of French language. So UFO is Utilisation Français Oral. So every couple of weeks they do a self-assessment on this, and so these marks here illustrate their self-assessment in terms of speaking French with their peers, speaking French with the teacher, asking for help in French, staying on task during activities and speaking in French. So there's a few criteria that they would answer within those quizzes. And so this shows up right here. So you can see how your child feels they are doing in terms of use of French language. Then as we move down, the first section here, which are the first activities we worked on. So you can see there was 2 activities there that were submitted. And you can see there's a mark right there that you can then see. And then for Unit 1, we're almost done Unit 1 actually. So we're just starting to work on Unit 1, Activity 7, their crest and logo that they're working on. So that starts tomorrow. It'll be due by Friday. But everything else above this, all of these items right here, these should all have been completed and submitted. I've marked everything. So right now, if there's a mark of 0 there, either they really didn't understand it, or they submitted the wrong file to that Dropbox, which is why I end up at 0, or the work has not been completed. So I encourage you to have your child log on with you this evening and take you in, and they can show you their progress in the course up to this point right here, because that's where they should be. All of this work needs to be completed, except for le blason. The le blason, I'll give them a bit more of an extension. It's due Friday, but the other work for sure should all be completed by Friday, or I'm going to have to submit their name to student support, because they obviously need extra assistance or encouragement to get their work done. So you'll notice there's a coding here with these grade items. So for example, U1 stands for Unit 1. Activité 1 is indicated here, or évaluation is indicated. If there isn't the full word, then it would be U1, Unit 1, A1's Activity 1, and this is évaluation numéro 2. So this just shows you where you can find information and things. So if we go back up to the top menu right here, what you're able to do is you're able to then click on in the content if you wanted to go to those areas. So if it said it was Unit 1, Activity 2, when the content comes up down the left side, you can actually click on that section. So Unit 1, Activity 2, you would click on this spot right here. It then takes you to that section. And if it was one of the evaluations, you'd click on here and you can find your way to it that way. It also then helps you to find the specific drop boxes. So assignments is what they refer to as drop boxes. So the drop boxes, if it was that type of work, it would be found in assignments. Back in the grade items, it actually indicated if something was a discussion. So if it doesn't say discussion in the grade item name, this is where you'd find the place to submit it. And then in here, there'll be feedback. So if it has been marked, I've used a rubric, you're able to click on the rubric and then view that. And then this will allow you to see what the feedback was for that activity. And then what you want to do as well. So we talked about success criteria earlier on. When you go into a Dropbox to submit work, what will happen is that there will be the rubric right there that the student can then take a look at to make sure they're aware of the success criteria. They can assess their work before they put it in there to make sure that it meets these requirements. And so this is how this assignment here, for example, is being marked, and these are the things that I'm looking for. So again, that's found right in the assignment Dropbox, so that supports students in terms of knowing what's required for the assignment. Another place that work is often submitted is through discussions. Discussions are good because students can read each other's work. And so if something has been assigned in a discussion, you'll notice again that they're sorted by unit, and then activity add underneath. So this would be an unité. So go to Unit 1. In Activity 1, this was a discussion that was found in that section. So students then click on the discussion. When they're in the discussion, they're able to see the rubric before they even start. So you'll notice that right here, there's this rubric right here. If they click on it, it will then open up, and then it gives all the different criteria that are required. So here we're looking at them creating a paragraph. And so these are the different components required to write a paragraph properly. When their work is completed, I'll go through and I'll mark it. And if they're curious about how it went, this will actually indicate what was missing. So whether or not they were missing a third supporting idea, whether or not the opening sentence wasn't complete, closing sentence, or in some cases, often students, they end up writing everything almost like point form. They don't actually have the sentences flowing together. So this section here is just having all of the sentences flowing in a proper paragraph format. So again, it's very specific and lets the students know what's missing so that they're able to go in if they wish and fix it up to have a higher mark. So they simply create a new thread. So they click on start a new thread. They would then submit their work this way, and the system then notifies me that it's been completed. So these are ways in which you can support your child at home. Again, I strongly encourage you to have your child go through, at least show you the grades. So again, up in this section, click on grade items, go through that this evening with your child, and then have a discussion if there's a whole bunch of zeros in the Unit 1 section. So again, these have been all completed by all students, and these are done as well. But in this section right here, if there's some zeros that are still existing, perhaps you can encourage them to get that work done before this Friday. As I mentioned, otherwise I'll have to put them on the student support list. So if you ever have any questions, please be sure to let me know. You can send me an email, or you can call at school, leave a message, and I will do my best to get back to you promptly. Have a good evening.